Okay, I'm going to teach you how to make these cool brass sculptures. I've seen these at art shows go for a lot of money. It's actually really simple to make. You can make all kinds of cool things. You can use brass tubes or brass rods. I prefer the brass rods. And all we're going to do is really just solder these joints together. And this is what is technically called brazen welding. So you're just heating and with a flux two metals together. We're going to use these little rods right here. I think these are 10 millimeter in length and 3 millimeters in diameter are the ones I'm using. I just bought them on Amazon. And the important thing when you're making something like this is that you map out all of your angles. It's especially when you have set rod lengths. Like I don't really want you to have to cut these, so it kind of limits you to what you want to make. Now, if you have something cool you want to make, come talk to me. You can also bend them and do a lot of cool stuff. We're not going to go into all that. We're going to do very simple here. So to make a shape like this, you need to plan out the angles. If you want to make a cube, that's just 90 degrees. It's really easy. You know what a 90-degree angle is. You can just line it up with these lines that are on this cutting mat or whatever you have and make it. But with something like this, it requires a little more precision. So this is if I put my protractor there, that's a 60-degree angle. So it's like a perfect triangle. All the sides are the same length. So you might have to do some looking up online. There's a lot of cool calculators online. I might post a link to one of them that you can calculate different geometric shapes and the sizes and angles that you need to cut. But you'll have to do that. So if I want to make this sphere right here, I would take this right here and I would move this to 60 degrees. Pause it there to go get some clamps. This is going to help us, so I'm going to come clamp this one down. Okay, so right there we have a 60-degree angle. All right, you see I've gotten pretty squared up. I'm going to try to put the clamp on the wood, not the rod. We'll see, that might be a mistake, but we'll figure that out in a second. All right, got my soldering iron, I got my solder. I know from experience that this is going to go better if I put flux on it. So let's see if I have the flux paste. There's some right there. Also, another thing you need to have on hand are your heat gloves. As soon as I start soldering this, you don't want to handle that metal without. So I'm going to put some of this flux paste on there. This is just going to help the solder bond to the metal. Okay, so this is actually thinner solder than I prefer, so I've got a thicker gauge solder here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm going to use this. What is the... just thicker solder, because you're going to need to put a lot on there. Alright, so get my soldering iron out. For this, you might want to use this. Remember, you don't want to breathe the fumes on a soldering iron. You don't want to touch the metal. It's really hot. It will burn you. You want a nice clean edge, so make sure you got a sponge, cleaning pad. Okay, and then we're going to get this hot in advance, get both of these hot, and then I'm going to drag this in. And you can hear that metal sizzling. And what we want to avoid is the smoke coming in my face, like it's doing right now. Always wear safety glasses. Actually, that's the other thing I got when I paused the video. I was out here without safety glasses. And you might get some extra like this, so it's up to you on how you want to deal with this. You can kind of touch it and bring it up and kind of, yeah, there we go. I kind of just cleaned it up a little bit. So we're going to let that cool off a little bit. We should know pretty quick if it's going to work. Get my other rod out. I moved it a bit so it's off. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to put that right there. This is where it gets tricky. Okay, once again, I'm going to rub a little of the flux in there. Probably should just stuff the rods in there instead of using my hands, but a little bit there. Got this here. We're going to do the next one. Oh, see, I didn't preheat the metal first, so it didn't stick very well on that one. There we go. It's a good joint. Hard part. So this part, let's do the same thing. So, now we've got to do our angle, and this angle is important because this is more than one angle that you got to worry about here. So I'm going to talk you through this as I do it. Where's my other rod? What I really should have been doing is just like touching these in the solder. Let's think. There's a couple ways to do this. So you can either make two more and then join them here and here, or you can build right off of this one. I think I'm going to try to go for just building right off of this one. So we got to check two angles now, and this is going to be kind of hard. Let's take this. So I'm just going to have to kind of hold this up here to do it. And not off. I need it to be a little smaller of an angle. Sorry. That's the line. So about 5 more degrees. It's really important you get your angle right. Still, barely hold on. Sometimes just holding it up. That looks like 60 degrees. Okay, now I have to make sure that this angle right here is 60 degrees. So I'm going to hold it right there, and it's almost pulled off now. That's about 60 degrees right there. And the way you can check your work before you test is take one of these, see if it fits there. If it fits there, it's the right size. So I'm actually going to back that off a little bit. Back this off a little bit. Same here. If this fits from here to here, see if it does. Okay, that looks right. That looks a little off, so I'm going to change that angle to there. That looks right. Okay, now we got it, we're going to go. But you can make a cube, you can make all kinds of cool stuff. I really like to see a sculpture, but you have to really plan out what you do. In my opinion, I guess you can't eyeball it, but at least the initial angles need to really be planned out. Otherwise, you're going to be cutting a lot of the rod. It's going to be a lot more work. I might just go ahead and take this little helping hand thing and have it help me hold this down. We'll just use this clamp to clamp that to the wood. There we go. Alright. Again, put a little flux on there. It's going to help. I'm going to remember to preheat it this time. So I'm heating this rod. And I'm going to bring this in. We have it. Let's take a look. So next thing you do is you kind of want to inspect all your joints, see if there's anywhere that you need to solder more. Like I would consider putting some solder right here. You have to be really careful when you do this. I'm going to actually hold this up here. And they make easier, like you can get like a blowtorch and these rods that will do it really fast, but it's kind of dangerous, so we're not going to do it in here. But yeah, and then like, you know, if you actually wanted to make a cool 3D shape, you could like, you know, connect these two together and make like a cool structure. You know, you can kind of see how you can kind of like play around and start making cool shapes that start to look really artistic. But just really keep those angles, get you a good protractor. There's a lot of different tools you can use. Like this cutting mat has 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees. You can kind of line it up here. Get you something to kind of hold the rods, clamp them down. It's going to be a little bit of playing. Just remember the metal gets hot. It takes a little while to cool down. Like it's probably cool now. You see, yeah. So, you know, but remember it gets really hot. And there you go. You've got your shape. So I hope that helps. Have fun. Make something cool. Cube is probably the easiest thing to make, by the way. Triangle is probably a little harder. So if you want to do just something super simple, do a 90-degree cube because you're not going to do a lot of measuring. All right.